I was shocked and quite disappointed today by the developments regarding Elon Musk tweeting that Farage should be replaced as the leader of reform. For me, it just demonstrated his complete cluelessness about UK politics. Elon Musk is so often heralded as a genius. Who knows? All I know is that I absolutely hate what he's done with Twitter. I get all these violent videos on my timeline, and I eventually had to end up paying the subscription premium thing just to get my original reach back. Anyway, you'll probably all notice that Musk promotes his own tweets massively. Like, since buying Twitter, his stuff now appears very prominently in everyone's feeds. It's yet another way he's made Twitter worse. He's kind of just turning it into his platform. It's like his mouthpiece, and his ego is going through the roof. He's opinionating sort of more and more on stuff that he knows sort of F all about. I think it's one thing to tweet as a private individual, but when you're tweeting as the owner of Twitter and forcing your opinions to be prominently seen by everyone on Twitter on more than everyone else's, you're sort of just stroking your own ego, and you're just sort of turning it into your own mouthpiece. And I think it's definitely all going to his head. I think before Musk had taken over Twitter, it definitely started to become a bit of a left-wing echo chamber. His left-leaning stuff was promoted more and more, and the right-leaning accounts were getting muted or banned, or shadow banned and things like that. Yeah, Musk is now doing the same thing, just from the right, and that's not a good thing either. Anyway, to go back to my original point about Musk tweeting about Farage and reform, anyone who knows anything about Brexit, Reform Party, UKIP, etc., they know just how important Nigel Farage is and just how pivotal he has been to the right-wing cause. You can love him or hate him, but he is undoubtedly one of the most important political figures in our country's entire history. Brexit would just not have happened without him. Yet today we've got Musk tweeting for him to be replaced as the Reform leader, the party that he actually built from the ground up. Yeah, good one. Stuff like this has actually happened many times in the past to a lesser extent. Anyone remember Robert Kilroy Silk? The ex-TV presenter with a massive fake tan and an even bigger ego. He joined UKIP, then fell out with Farage publicly back in the early 2000s and decided a new party was needed. He eventually started Veritas, Latin for truth apparently. They flopped massively and never gained a single MP. He eventually disappeared from the limelight and the party was taken over by someone else. It still exists today, but they really don't get many votes. Then we had Douglas Carswell, the Tory MP moderate, a Brexiter who defected to UKIP in a blaze of publicity with the secret intention to oust Farage and take the party to the centre. Farage eventually saw off his plot and he disappeared into political irrelevance as well. Then Gerard Batten, who argued with Farage about the exact same things that Musk is. Batten wanted Robinson to join UKIP, yet Farage understood just how toxic Robinson would be to voters. Having fought to keep extremists out of the party for decades, he gave Batten an ultimatum. If they associated with Robinson, Farage would walk. Batten felt that UKIP, with their 4 million votes, was now bigger than Nigel Farage. They didn't need him, he reasoned. He told Farage to walk. So Farage left UKIP. With Farage gone, UKIP's support evaporated overnight. They lost all 146 of their previously hard-won council seats at the following local election. At the last general election, they polled just 6,000 votes, down from the 4 million they'd gained with Farage. Farage, for his part, founded the Brexit Party, which then won the EU elections with 4 million votes, before morphing into the Brexit Party that exists today and gained 5 MPs in the last election. And then, of course, there was the old UKIP leader and Farage rival Henry Bolton. He originally stayed with UKIP after Farage left, and he eventually tried to set up his own party, which was called Our Nation. It never actually got off the ground, so he ended up standing as an independent and gained less than 1% of the vote in his constituency. There are a lot of big egos in politics, particularly in UK politics, but I think the lessons here are clear. The public support Farage. They understand for the most part he is an acceptable, sensible right-wing politician who understands the problems the UK faces, and he does offer genuine solutions. It's talked about all the time now, but I actually wonder if the media would even be reporting about the migrant channel crisis now, had Farage not gone out into the channel on a boat with a camera crew several years ago. If Musk thinks that reform can get a new leader and court Tommy Robinson, and he certainly seems to, then he is an utter fool. That is a path to political oblivion. Now, I'm perfectly happy to say that Tommy Robinson is right about a lot of things. And he has been persecuted to a large extent by the state. Of that, there is no doubt to any impartial person. Yet he just goes too far with his messaging, which, unlike Farage's, is never consistent. Robertson has on multiple occasions branded all of Islam extreme and all Muslims extreme. I and millions of others would never support that type of thinking. I don't give a damn what religion someone follows as long as they abide by our laws and don't try and force their beliefs on me. I do agree with Robinson about some of the extremists and what they are allowed to get away with, including the vile preachings in some of the mosques. Yet the vast majority of Muslims in this country are normal, law-abiding people who just want to crack on like the rest of us. You cannot brand all Muslims as a problem, as Robinson has done in the past. I personally have Muslim friends, people I respect and care about very much. I could never be associated with a party that openly sided with someone like Robinson, and I know that millions of other people would be in the same boat. Robinson is on video committing assault, talking about his cocaine use, using racist language, including the P word. He's been accused of spending his supporters' money on prostitutes and drugs. He was once imprisoned for allegedly kicking a police officer in the head. Apparently, the officer had stepped in to stop Robinson assaulting his girlfriend. Allegedly. This is who Musk would boot out Farage for not supporting. Give me a break. Farage has always fought very hard not to be associated with extremists. The media have tried incredibly hard to smear him as a racist. He understands that you have to distance yourself from extreme elements, even if there are some areas of agreement, if you want to be electable. Musk has let his ego go to his head and he's well out of his depth. It's all incredibly frustrating. His previous public backing of Farage and reform was very helpful. The potential money wouldn't have hurt either. Because believe me, Farage and reform are our only way out of the mess this country is in. Without them, we are royally bleeped. Musk has hurt the cause considerably with his recent outbursts. He's called the king to recall Parliament, etc. He's tweeting every few minutes, and he's actually starting to come across as a bit deranged. Reform supporters must hold steady and not react to this. Musk would have been oh so helpful to the cause, but he's not vital by any means. Reform must stay on the course they are on, which is to win the 2029 general election.